The Israeli town of Dimona doesn't have many claims to fame beyond lending its name to a nearby nuclear reactor that some allege is part of a secret weapons program. But now Dimona is back in the news. It's home to a community that calls itself the African Hebrew Israelites of Jerusalem. Now, this is a group of African Americans who believe that they are the descendants of one of the lost tribes of Israel, in their case, Judah, and they see Israel as their spiritual homeland.
We feel that this is our legitimate ancient homeland, ancestral homeland. We can document these things culturally, historically. We can document the fact that many of us are actually genetically, culturally, historically connected to this land. We answered this call. We want to be part of this light that prophetically was to go forth in these very dark times on the planet. And we know that we have that contribution to make, and we've made that contribution for 50 plus years here in Israel. And we're known amongst the people, and these are part of our family members who over the last 25 years have become deeply intertwined with us.
This African-American expat community, the largest in the world, has lived here for just over half a century. But now roughly 100 of them are facing imminent deportation. Israel's Interior Ministry says they're in the country illegally and has rejected their requests for residency.
We had about 24 of our family members, friends, associates here who received letters of deportation, intent to deport. And these were cases that had been in limbo for the last 2 decades, 2.5 decades in some cases. And so they were given, to our great surprise, they were given a 60-day notice, 21 days to appeal. Deportation notices. Certainly, outside observers have acknowledged the fact that racism is an element within the structure of the Ministry of Interior.
Dawn now has just 60 days to get out of the country, a place she's called home for decades. Her children, all of whom were born in Israel, also face imminent deportation.
It's very disturbing to me to think that my children will be deported from the land of their birth. They've never lived anywhere else. This is the life that they know, and as an adult, this is the life that I know. I've spent most of my adulthood here in Israel. I'm surprised because our community has been here for 53 years. We have been a very vital part of the Israeli society. Our children serve in the IDF. Any aspect of the Israeli society we're a part of.
Others feel they're living in Israel on borrowed time. Their tourist visas expired years ago.
All of us have some degree of issue with the Ministry of Interior in terms of taking some unusually long time to get what you would expect to do to you in 3 years, 4 years, 4 months. It's always something. The difference is that some of us are already in the system and are moving, at least, we thought, in a positive direction. The Ministry of Interior, especially under the dominion of the Orthodox parties, has always seen us as something other than. We're not seen as Jews. It's always something else. We're outside of the law, and we're unincorporable into the family of the houses of Israel. And we know that there are many different versions of Judaism, many different communities with different historical and cultural differences that find a way to get along. How come we can't fit? We're committed to this land. We've committed ourselves, our futures, our children. 100% of our children, when they graduate high school, they serve in the IDF. We've represented Israel in academic and sports and cultural events around this world.
The community has come a long way in the 53 years since a former factory worker from Chicago arrived here with some 30 of his followers. Devoted and committed to Israel, they practice all Jewish holidays and festivals, eat vegan, and practice polygamy. Although it's only a small percentage of the community that faces deportation, everyone here is upset and has vowed to stay put. Paula Sleer, RT, Dimona.